Welcome to the Hope Thing, a Native American podcast, where we will be discussing Michelle Mesa's new book, Dream Big, Do Bigger. I'm Melissa Atkins, the Training and Development Coordinator, and this is Brooke Warrington, the Training and Development Specialist for the Native Learning Center. Today on the show, we are excited to have Michelle Mesa, Certified Mindset Coach, Branding Strategist, CEO of Luxie Coaching and Consulting. It is so great to have you back on our podcast. Would you like to tell our listeners a little bit about yourself before we jump in?
Yes, thank you so much for having me. It's always a good time when we're on here talking about all things business and fun stuff. Yes, so I am a two-time international best-selling author and speaker. Yes, and single mom, two beautiful girls. One is in college now. She'll be a sophomore in college. That first year went by so fast. And then I have a big seventh grader. She's so excited to be in junior high.
Oh, how cute.
Yeah. I volunteer I never talk about this actually, but I volunteer at a lot of local organizations involving domestic violence victims, uh, pregnancy centers, food banks. We have a lot of rural, like Native communities around the area that I live in on the Creek. I'm in between the Creek Reservation and the Cherokee Nation Reservation, so I have the best of both worlds. So I help a lot with their passionate about literacy. You know, there's so many people, young and old, who do not know how to read. So I have taken a grassroots approach, and a handful of us just get out there and partner with the schools, partner with the libraries, and different things like that. So that's what I do in my spare time.
That is amazing. So let's jump into your new book, because very excited to talk about it. Can you tell us about the inspiration behind your book, Dream Big and Do Bigger?
Yes. So this is the book, and it's available on my website, luxieconsulting.com/shop. And that's LUKSI consulting.com/shop. Also available on Amazon and other places, but you can guarantee that you will find copies and availability on my website. So I keep, an inventory of it, so it's readily available. And also, if you want a signed copy, of course, you can do that. So this is such a fun project. I actually co-authored this book with 22 other amazing women. And I'm telling you, like this, thank you. This book has really inspired me. Other women shared their stories of success, of failures, of accountability. And that's what this book is. It's a book of accountability. And our hope is that it inspires others to just go out there, set your goals high, your dreams even higher, and do more, do bigger. So that's the concept of the book.
I love that.
I'm really digging this female empowerment energy. So, what's the main message or takeaway that you hope readers will gain from reading your chapter?
Yeah, great question. So, my chapter is actually called The Bulletproof Goal Getter Game Plan. And so mine's towards the beginning. And what I do in my chapter is, for the first time ever, I'm revealing my strategy on the big goals that I set and how I achieve them. So it's filled with just basically your game plan, your blueprint to just take what I've done and go apply it to whatever you set out to do. So I'm very, very excited. When I thought about what I was going to write about, I thought about many things that I was going to share, but I really asked the question, what if someone was just starting out, or no matter what the age is, or let's say someone had a hard setback, a hard year, and they stumbled onto this book, what would my hope be for my chapter? And so that's the thought process behind my chapter, and the reason why I chose to share my strategy, because a lot of people, I've been in the business industry for over 28 years. And so I've seen a lot, I've heard a lot, I've done a lot, and I've led a lot of people and developed a lot of people. And over the years, the common thing that I've noticed is no strategy. There's no strategy in place. And so that's why specifically I help entrepreneurs do this, like in my consulting business. And, these books that I write are an extension of my brand. It's, we're considered, subject matter experts when whatever topic we write about. And so I wanted something tangible that someone can actually take and apply, because how many times have you read a book and you get to the end and you're like, okay, what was the point of that book? What do I do with this? Yeah, it inspires me, it motivates me, but what do I do with it? There's no application. So I wanted my chapter to be different.
I love that. What are some practical steps or strategies that you suggest for individuals to start turning their dreams into reality?
The biggest thing like that you can do right now is goal setting, because without your goals in place and write them down. It's one thing to have them in your head, but statistics show that there are actually only 3% who actually follow through with the goals. And out of that 3%, I know it's crazy. And there are tons of statistics, reports out there. Like I spent about 6 months studying this before I wrote my chapter, because I wanted to provide basis behind, not just giving somebody my strategy, and hope it sticks to the wall. But I wanted basis behind it and research backing it. And out of that 3%, all of them wrote their goals down and they hung them up. They looked at them daily, and then they applied action steps to achieving those goals. So absolutely, like, goal setting is where you start.
So, what specific role would you say that goal setting plays in the process of dreaming big, doing bigger?
It plays a front end role. It's a front seat because, in addition to the goal setting, coming up with goals, achievable goals, SMART goals. Of course, I use that method. I recommend the SMART goals method. I would say, your routine has a lot to do with what you actually do towards your goals. And, I read a book, I don't know, like, it's been a couple of years. It's called Atomic Habits. And so what you do daily, even by the hour or the minute, affects your entire life. It affects your schedule, it affects your goals, it affects your career, your relationships of all kinds. And so that book really inspired me to really dig deeper and figure out, like, back when I was, I was in the same position a lot of people are, like, when they buy the book and read the book. And I remember thinking, okay, what are my steps that I need to take? And when I started with goals, my vision became clear. Like, I actually had a vision and it felt achievable, because sometimes, like, we have these big dreams and aspirations, but a lot of people never start because it's, from the step from A to Z is, what do you do in between? And so for me personally, I'm a realistic person. So I believe in, you have to make them achievable and realistic, and start with small goals. You don't have to set big goals in the beginning, because what this does is this creates your habits. It falls into your routine. And then once you develop that routine and those habits, it takes 66 days to, implement a new habit and make it your routine. So if you think about that, let's say you go a step further in 67 days, because I always go one more than the statistics, right? Then you get used to doing that every day, and whatever it is for those action steps, it just becomes natural. It becomes second nature. And then you're able to see, okay, I have some movement towards my goals. And then those goals become closer. Then the next step after that is you dream big. Okay, I hit these baby steps. Now I want to dream bigger. I want to have a company who reaches the world versus the United States, or versus the state you live in. And that's an example that I give to dreaming big. And that's exactly what I did. And it's amazing how powerful your mindset is. Once you reframe your mind into that growth mindset, the abundance mindset, those are buzzwords and everybody talks about it, but nobody tells you, like, how to get it or how to transform it. And so that's what I do with my clients. I help them transform their mind. So when they get these tangible things, it's easier to achieve and apply them. And then it's like a whole world of opportunity opens up. And that's what gets me excited, true transformation.
Oh, that's wonderful. And now you mentioned that you use SMART goals. Do you mind speaking a little to what that means for our listeners who maybe aren't familiar?
Yes. So, it's one thing to just write down goals. For example, so SMART goals that's an acronym for specific, measurable, achievable, and the R stands for reasonable, and T stands for time trackable. And so what that does is you literally, like when I teach people how to set SMART goals, I write out the acronyms and then I write down what the acronym stands for. And then beside it, I go a little deeper. And so you literally take one sentence for each letter. And for example, so instead of saying, I'm going to sell 10 books this year, or I'm going to sell some books for Dream Big, Do Bigger, right? Instead of saying that, you break it down further. So I'm going to sell 10 books within the first quarter to XYZ people or XYZ bookstores or whatever it is. And so that's an example of, so you basically have the who, what, when, where, and why, and how. So answering all those questions, so you've got the acronym and you've got answering all those questions, and then you formulate your goals. And that's the beauty of it. It's really not hard. And a lot of people, that's where they get stuck in their minds, is they think, oh my gosh, I don't even know what all those acronyms mean. Yeah, I understand what the words mean, but they can't relate it to their goals. And so that I always give that example, because once you grasp that and get it into your mind, you can visualize it. Because when you can visualize your goals happening, you're more likely to achieve them. So there's other methods to use, but that's what I've used. I'm a former college instructor, so I've used it for my students. That's how they finish school and achieve their degrees and found their dream jobs, is by goal setting.
I like how you break down the goals. It seems like it makes it easier to achieve when you break it down step by step. So that is amazing. Can you give us a sneak peek into any upcoming projects or ideas that you're working on related to the concepts in Dream Big, Do Bigger?
Yes, so I'm going to sell the book again. Do bigger. It's all shiny, pretty. So I've
have
actually,
everyone's picture on the back?
yes, yeah. And
That's nice. I love that.
yes, thank you. The publisher who I went with, it's a female-owned publisher. She Rises Studios, and I love how they relate. Because a lot of people, they like to see the author. Like normally there's just like a headshot or something.
Yeah.
But this, when there's more than one author, you get to actually like you step into the story. And that's, I'm a natural storyteller. I'm also a trained storyteller for marketing and things like that. But, it when you can visualize yourself in the story in the book that you're reading or the chapters or whatever, it becomes more realistic. And so the publisher is very strategic in how she designs all the books and stuff. So I really, yeah, that's why it just fell into direct alignment, because I've got other books, in store for the future, for only me, like as a solo author. But I love being a co-author because you just learn about other people and you get inspired by their stories and stuff. So speaking of, I actually have a course coming up, and you guys just got to make sure that you follow me on social media, because I will be releasing the date and the link and everything for the course. And so what that is we're going to dig deeper into my chapter. So again, my chapter is the bulletproof goal getter game plan. And I named it that because this is for the goal getters. Like I'm a serious goal getter. I always finish what I start. And a lot of people struggle with that. Even, think people I've mentored and developed over the years, majority of people just, they don't finish what they start. So I want people to break that habit, reading my chapter. So the course is exactly designed for that. It's a very challenging course. You'll deep dive into setting goals, how to achieve them. We're going to work on goals together. There's a companion book. You'll get a copy of this book when you sign up for the course if you haven't already got the book. So lots of things in store for it. I'm just so excited. Looking forward to it.
I'm very excited for you.
Thank you.
Would you like to tell us how people can contact you and where they can find you and all of your contact resources?
Yes, so you can find all this information out at luxyconsulting.com, and that's LUKSI consulting.com. You can find my books and other digital products I've created. I have a store on my website. I have all my social media links on my website, so make sure you follow. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn. Also, you'll find my personal brand, Coach Michelle D, and that's MICHELED on Instagram, Michelle Mesa on Facebook and LinkedIn.
Yay! That brings us to the end of this episode. Thanks to Michelle Mesa. Thank you so much for joining us today. As always, it's a pleasure to have you on our podcast, and I'm very happy that we got to discuss your new book. We hope you enjoyed the episode. As always, thanks for listening to Hope a Thing, a Native American podcast.
If you enjoy our show, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. Also, be sure to visit our website, nativelearningcenter.com, and find information on upcoming webinar and virtual trainings. Be sure to come back for more content.
Thank you guys. Have a good one.
Thank you.